Good evening and welcome to another round of the House of Esports F1 2023 Championship. This is Season 3 and we will be racing around the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez this evening in Mexico. We are just waiting for the guys to load in. We had quite a few issues. There's been a new patch, and as anyone who plays this game knows, a new patch means new problems. And tonight's problems was just people not being able to connect to the EA services. So we're going to be seeing who actually has made it in, who hasn't made it in, who the lobby is going to drop. It looks like someone has already dropped, so the lobby appears to have lagged out at the pit lane. But no, we have just had confirmation that we are getting underway, so so far so good. We do have one member who has not been able to join, who has been actively trying to join the entire time, so we'll see how this goes. We are also going to be running a formation lap, as apparently this has been fixed. Just looking through the telemetry quickly, it looks like everyone has their telemetry correct as well, so far so good. We just need to see if we can get Shane back into the lobby. If yes, great, he will be able to race with us. If no, unfortunately that might be the end of his race before it even begins. Alrighty, so some of the guys are heading out already, so let's just get the required things up onto the onto the screen, and we see Azure, Quinton, and Demo heading out immediately. Demo, after having load shedding for the first two races of the season, is joining us once again, so good to see him joining us. Please let me know if there are any issues with the volume or anything like that. I've redone most of my volume binds and so on and so forth, so the volume might be a little bit different to usual. So if it's loud, soft, or whatever it is, please let me know. And yeah, we'll see how these guys go. Gokes, welcome to the chat. Good to see you around. Venant, welcome as well. Good to see you as well. Yeah, I know you watched my race the other day, earlier today, and thank you for the compliments there. But yeah, so far, Demo and Quinton, the teammates in the Williams cars, heading out there, and Shane has managed to join. That is great to see. And yeah, let's see if he manages to stay in yellow flag in Sector 1. That's a little bit an odd place to have a yellow flag. Looks like one of the Haas's maybe just trying to get out of the way of another car. But Demo is now starting his lap, and we'll see how he goes. Oh, Shane has left the session once again, so not entirely sure what's happening there. By the way, chat is now this way, so if you see me looking this way, that is at chat. Telemetry that side, and I've got an extra screen which is comms on the last side just about behind me. What are we supposed to be hearing? I'm a little bit lost. Oh, okay, cool. Volume is good. Good to hear. I think I have also fixed the audio alerts, so they should come through as well, not just in my ears, deafening me, but for everyone, so hopefully that does work as well. But yeah, so far so good. Everyone out there, just Shane having issues, and Demo has unfortunately invalidated his lap time, and Olympic has retired from the session. That would be due to his quali ban that he picked up in the last race. He will be facing a 2-race ban going forward. So yeah, unfortunate there for him, but yeah, one of those things. It got 3 penalty points in the same event. Demo a little bit in the way there through the final section there. I think Quinton may have been able to go a little bit faster there, but unfortunately his teammate in front of him, and not entirely sure. There we go. Okay, apparently I accidentally hit F6, but Quinton going through to the top of the time so far. Azure immediately going faster. Azure top 10 in the world on this track, so not entirely surprised that he is up there, or was top 10 when the guys were busy practicing, which was a little demoralizing for a few people. Aphrodox in second place, only 3/10 off of Azure, so that's great to see. And yeah, so far so good. Zivon actually going even faster than Aphrodox, so Zivon doing incredibly well there. We now have Venom has crossed the line, 117.4. Humid doing a very slow lap there. Worm Puzzle not quite hooking it up either. Corsair coming through the final corner. Let's see what he can do. Stays close to the pit wall and goes up into 5th position. So a massive massive fight out in front, only a second. Oh, and there is Marsh getting up to 3rd position with only 0.215 back from Azure. So everyone is pushing incredibly hard around this track. A lot of practice has happened, and you can see it in how close the times are. And even those that are a little bit further back, they're not terrible times at all. Corsair and Venom only 6/10 separate, 6 thousandths, sorry, separating the two of them there. So back to the laps. Emil looks like he is getting ready for a lap. Ark is also out there. Demo is out on another outlap, but we'll see how Emil goes in the Alfa Romeo. His teammate up in 4th position and not far off the top. Dean, welcome to the chat. Sorry, I didn't see your message there in amongst the others. So Emil starting the lap, heading down the incredibly long pit straight. I think if I recall correctly, this is the longest run down to turn 1 of any track on the calendar, and you could see how long it took Emil to get there. A little bit of traffic through there, but nicely off the racing, in fact off the track entirely, so that wouldn't have affected Emil through there. And now it heads towards the end of Sector 1. Sector 1, only really those 2 straights with a chicane in the middle. Emil now into Sector 2. Will he catch a second Red Bull? No, the Red Bull gets nicely off the racing line. Good respectful move there by the Red Bulls just to get out of the way of Emil, who is on a hot lap. We did see a couple of quali bands come out of the Tier 2 race this last race at where was it? Oh, I can't even remember. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Spa. Yeah, a couple of quali bands coming out of there for impeding, so I think everyone is just keeping it nice and clean through here. Good evening, Robin. Welcome to the chat. Good to have you around. Charlic Bread. Oh, Zivan has disconnected. Yeah, I'll send him an invite as soon as we see Emil come across the line. 1st position, 116.335. It did look quick, and it was indeed. So let's send an invite through to Zivan. I'm going to see if Shane is online as well. There is Shane, so dropped him an invite as well. Wait until this is done. There it is. There's the hop. And Sivan sent. Please let me know how bad I'm lagging. Hubert, I will keep an eye on it. Charlik, thanks for asking for an invite for Zivan. Hopefully Shane can get in as well. Mario currently in 16th position. I do believe he is on a lap and starting Sector 2 at the moment. The hairpin, one of the most awkward parts of this track. Very tight chicane just before the hairpin, and then you have to launch yourself into these S's. The S's incredibly satisfying to get right, incredibly easy to get wrong as well, and we see so many invalidations through that section of track. Mario currently heading through, and I just want to try and see if I can, or to spot if I can see what his sector times are looking like. I do need to make that the telemetry a little bit bigger as soon as he gets through this lap. But so far not looking bad. Comes through the final corner, sticks to the right hand side, and only good enough for 10th place. So massive pace out there, and you can see the spread all the way down to 15th, separated by under 2 seconds, and top 7 separated by under a second after those incredible times by Emil and Azure. So very tight spread, and I'm sure we're going to see even better laps coming very shortly. Azure is out there in the Alpine, and is he being held up a little bit by well, obviously is on an outlap, so it's not going to be too much of an issue. Has a Haas right behind him. I think that might be who is that in the Haas? Marsh. It will have to be Marsh. There's only Marsh in the Haas. So Azure getting ready for a lap, and we'll actually ride on board with him for this lap. So Azure crossing the line in first position after Corsair went into second with an identical time to Emil and Aphrodox, showing that he's got incredible pace in that other Alfa Romeo there, 116.098. So very competitive up at front. Up at the front, Azure, Aphrodox, Emil, and Corsair, so incredibly close. Scar's currently starting a lap, so we'll follow him around for his next lap. Going to send Zivan that invite now. And there it's sent. Okay, so lots of yellow flags all over the place. I do believe we've got one person who's run out of fuel there in an Alpha Tauri. I believe that's an Alpha Tauri, and it's, let's see, who is that? Is it Mario? I don't think it's Mario. Although they're sticking together now, so I think Mario was just waiting for his teammate to get through and may now be heading out. Scar's getting a decent slipstream down towards the end of turn 1 and going all the way to the other side of the track just to take advantage of the slipstream. So let's see if it has made a difference for him. As I said just now, I just needed to make my telemetry a little bit bigger so I can actually see. So interestingly, I'm looking at the lap times out there. Humid actually gone into third while I was looking away. And the reason I actually noted that is Azure only has the fastest first sector of anyone. Humid carries the fastest second and third sector, so he did a pretty good lap on those final 2 sectors. And just seeing how everyone is doing. How much time do we have left? We have 5.5 minutes left, or 5 minutes 50 seconds left, so about 6 minutes left for Shane to try and salvage something. And yeah, Scar's coming through the final couple of corners, as I think that was Titan went to second position, so he managed to get a good lap in. Scars goes up into 5th position. Emil and Corsair still 6th and 7th with those identical times. And let's see, Arc is currently starting a lap, so let's follow the Red Bull around for this one. So when Humid comes out for his next lap, we will follow him around just to see whether he is lagging at all. I see a McLaren with a yellow flag around it, and I do believe that is a fuel-related yellow flag, so hopefully he manages to stay out of the way. It looks like he stayed nicely to the right-hand side as that Mercedes came through. But back to Arc, going through that hairpin, and now heading through down towards the S's. Does he manage to get the first S right? It does look like he managed to get that quite nicely. Arc's times, let's have a look. He's currently in 12th position, so faster in the first sector, and let's see, second sector, faster in the second sector by a good 5/10 margin, 1/10 in the first sector, so this is a much better lap than his previous one. And let's see where it puts him as he comes through the stadium section and now onto the start finish straight. Does he manage to move up? He moves up from 13. Does he manage to move up? He does not manage to move up, so he must have lost. No time loss in the last sector, so just unfortunately not a good enough lap on that last time to really trouble anyone, and has now just moved closer to Quinton, who is in 12th position. So unfortunate there for Arc. It did look like a pretty good lap, a definite improvement over his previous one, but not quite enough improvement in the last sector to move him up. Oops. Okay, so last invite heading out to Shane. Unfortunately, I think his game might need a reinstall, so we're going to try one more time. And Zivan, please double check if Zivan has actually managed to get that invite that I sent through. I didn't see him rejoin, but I don't see him as offline either on my side, so if you could just please ask him if he has managed to get back in. I have asked on the Discord, but no response just yet, as we see Marsh coming into the final sector now. now, or the actual meat of the second sector rather, the S's, and let's see how he does as he goes through here. Currently, first sector is looking good, about a 10th up on his previous first sector time. Second sector 2/10 up on his previous sector time, and let's see what he does in the third sector. The stadium section is incredibly fiddly, possibly a little bit more awkward. Oh, and immediately Shane has left, and unfortunately I think that is just his game needing some serious help. Marsh comes across the line and goes up into 6th place, makes a decent amount in the final sector. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell me what his previous final sector time was, because this was his best lap. So a great run there by Marsh to take himself up into 6th position. Aphrodox and Titan both on laps Azure, or on outlaps. Azure actually on a lap at the moment, as we see. I do believe that is Aphrodox getting out of the way there. You can see how awkward it is to try and stay out of the way. It was a really good representation of how difficult it is for these drivers to stay out of the way of each other as Azure, and then it invalidates a penalty for blocking. And where was that? That was coming into turn 1. That's a strange place to get a penalty. Unfortunately, quali penalties we can't really do anything about, but that is really unfortunate. So Humid was asking about lag. As you can see, he's trying to stay out of the way of the guys. A whole bunch of guys taking advantage of him getting out of the way of the hot lap. So we're going to follow him around and just see how his car does as far as jitter is concerned. He is having a couple of internet problems, so he doesn't want to get in anyone's way, but it looks like he's doing all right. Just doing a quick check on what everyone is doing. Zivon is on an outlap, so hopefully that means he has managed to rejoin. So yeah, so far so good. Alrighty, so Shane unfortunately not able to join us, just confirming it now quickly, and yeah, that is really unfortunate for him. The game, as I said, we've had a new patch, so unfortunately new patch, new bug, and I wonder if maybe it didn't apply properly. As Human comes to the final corner, let's see what he can do. 18 seconds left to go to the end of the quali session, so timing it really well. Only 2 guys behind him, and they are right on top of each other. That is Mario, and I do believe it is Scars behind him. Either Scars or Worm Puzzle, not 100% sure who. Let's have a look, and it's not telling me. Oh, Quinton gets a track limit, so that will be the end of his qualifying. He does come across the line 116.927, currently in 12th position. Arc, Worm Puzzle, Helis, Martin, and Official Demo behind him on the track, who will be wanting to move up. So Humid going through here, doesn't look like he's jittering too much. Azure gets another fastest lap of 115.662, so really incredible stuff there from Azure. And as we see a Red Bull spun out at the beginning of Sector 2. But Humid looks like he's doing a pretty good lap here, coming towards the Sector 3, and gets a fastest middle sector, and that is actually legitimately a fastest middle sector according to the telemetry. He improved in the first sector by 0.2 of a second. So will he be able to take this to Azure or get close? It does look like he's doing pretty well. There was a little bit of a twitch in the final sector, and it has cost him 1/10 of a second between himself and Azure, and that is going to be tragic for him. A Titan Ash coming through the final sector doesn't look entirely comfortable there, so I don't think he's going to be moving up, and stays in 3rd position. So a great run there by Humid on that final run. So incredibly close. Apologies, so incredibly close to managing to set that up for a great run on the guys out in front, and I'm sure he's going to be feeling some frustration there. Well, that was a little dumb. I redeemed one of the audio things and then forgot that I'd muted the audio. Okay, apologies. That was me being stupid. So yeah, not too many track limits. A few, like enough to really, to note, but not anything too bad. Let's go Venom. Shane, welcome. This is actually your first advantage on the chat, so welcome to the chat. Sorry you couldn't join us. It unfortunately one of those things. Again, as I keep saying, new patch, new bug. And unfortunately, you're the one that caught it this time. So Zero, fastest first and third sectors. Humid with that massive second sector. So I imagine Humid is running a slightly higher downforce setup, which will give him a better pace, or a mid downforce setup rather, which would give him that better pace through that second sector. But yeah, let's see how it goes. You can see the virtual crowds absolutely enthralled and moving in sync as per usual, which is always quite creepy. European flag up there, which is a little weird that you see European flags. I'm not entirely sure why those are still in the game. I feel like it's a leftover from one of the previous years where the European Grand Prix was a thing. But yeah, European flags out there, 2 of them, no less, which I don't think any European is really going to be carrying around one of those to wave in the grandstands, especially not above the pit lane. Alrighty then, we are ready to go. Obviously we will have the formation lap, so we should see green lights coming on. Apparently we don't get to see the green lights coming on. Formation lap underway, and the guys will be able to warm their tires for the first time since the start of the season, so the way they like. So what we're likely to be seeing, and that is exactly what I was going to say, so you'll see the guys actually drag what they call drag the brakes, as that is a very optimistic Williams. Who is that? That is Quinton out in front. Not entirely sure what he's doing. But yeah, so the guys will be dragging their brakes, trying to get their tires up to temperature, and you can see most of them will be running absolutely full throttle and just keeping the brakes applied pretty much all the way through Corsair. There we go. And possible race strategies, mediums to hards is what the game expects. And we can see the tires there, and yeah, so most people have gone mediums, quite a few hards as well, one person on softs. So Ark deciding he's going to gamble on the softs, and we'll see how that actually goes. Not necessarily, I'm not going to say it's not going to work, but I think he might have a little bit of an issue if there isn't an early safety car. Quinton out in front, coming through the final sector. He has hard tires, so I wonder if he's just gone as hard as possible to try and get some temperature into the hard tires without having to drag the brakes. I do know he is playing on a controller, so yeah, that could be a valid strategy to try and get some temperature into those tires, and it looks like he's done pretty well, to be honest. Looking at his tire temperatures compared to the others, he definitely has managed to put some temperature into those tires as he comes to the, and as he has found his grid spot. He's got actually pretty good temperature into those tires, considering the fact that he wasn't able to track the brakes. As we see, is that Titan Ash? Was that Titan Ash? No, that's not Titan. Oh, right, there we go. That was Titan Ash spinning in the background there, and that will... We'll take a look at that at some point. Worm Puzzle disqualified from the session for missing his grid box, which shouldn't be a problem. He should still be able to take the start. And 5 red lights are up. And away they will go. A strange camera angle to look at here. Azure gets a decent start. The Titan Ash looks like he got an even better start. And Humid in second place and gets a good start. Azure not having a great start here, and actually starting to fall back already as we see them heading down into turn 1, almost 4 wide. We'll see who is who and who makes it through just now. And some decent racing there. Everyone looks like they're managing to get it through the first chicane. Titan Ash shuffled wide through there, and looks like a very clean start there by the racers, and well done to everyone. Zivan unfortunately out at the absolute back. I'm not sure if he had some sort of contact there. Oh, and Titan Ash getting a little bit of contact with, I think it was Afrodox in the Alfa Romeo, but has managed to keep it together. So Yeah, so far Azure actually managing to get back ahead going through into the second sector, and now he is trying to pull a gap out in front as we see Corsair and Emil right on top of each other. And it's a little too early to be racing as hard as some of these guys appear to be racing. Obviously, they are trying to take advantage of the tire temperature differential, and Marsh going for the inside of Mario and not quite managing to make the move stick, and now has to stick behind him through sector 3. Out in front, Azure has managed an 8/10 gap over Humid. Humid is trying to pull away from Afrodox, but Afrodox is keeping hold of him. Titan Ash in 4th, 5/10 back from Afrodox. Will be getting a good slipstream down this incredibly long pit straight. Corsair behind Titan and Emil behind Corsair. So a couple of battles that we're going to be looking forward to. A couple people pulling out there. Mats Marsh on Mario once again gets the first corner. Will be on the outside for the second corner. Side by side all the way through there. Great racing by the two of them, and well done to the two of them. Unfortunately, Mario shuffled out, and Afrodox has managed to be knocked out. Martin DeBrain has retired from the session. Not entirely sure what happened there. It looked, I don't know, was there maybe contact? Martin has left the session, so that's a little bit of a weird one. Very early on, I didn't see any contact going into the corners initially, but I was looking at other things, so I wonder if there was maybe contact between I know Humid, Titan, and Afrodox were fighting out in front, so hopefully no contact there. Obviously, Titan being a reserve, he is on probation or in the league based on a probationary period. So if he's caused contact this early on, it's not looking good. Arc currently coming into the pits. I don't see any damage on Arc there, so maybe just trying to put on a different tire. He was on the soft tires, so maybe getting rid of those soft tires, gambling on the early safety car, getting it as well very early on. So we'll see how this goes. Safety car will pick up as you're right about now. And yeah, a little bit of a chaotic start to the race. It looked incredibly clean for the first lap and then second lap as they went into the chicane. Okay, so I did hear it, and it did look like it was triggering things, but I don't think it was very loud. Yeah, let's see how that goes. Obviously, with the game being as loud as it is, it could have possibly just been that. And Marsh and Scars swapping positions there under the safety car. Oh, there we go. Marsh swapping positions back. So obviously some sort of issue there. The game telling someone to go through possibly, and the drivers switching the positions back. And Marsh gets past Scars again. So I'm not sure if this is the game just messing them around, or if this is Marsh following a little bit too closely behind Scars, and that's leading him to pass accidentally under braking. But it looks like the safety car is going to be with us for at least one more lap, so we'll see it go around one more time with the guys right behind. Everyone has caught up. Arc is on the back of the Crocodile, so yeah, they will follow them around one more time and then hopefully get underway on the next lap.
You will not have the drink.
Okay, that looked like it actually triggered properly. Yeah, I spent about half an hour fiddling with each of the sound channels earlier and managed to figure out what was going where, what wasn't going where it was supposed to, and apparently managed to get it working. Welcome to the chat, Alf. Okay, cool. So safety car is indeed in this lap. So let's see how this goes. Zero, slowing everyone up. I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see him go fairly early. Obviously, he has to wait for the safety car to get back into the pits, which can take a while around this track because of the technical nature of the stadium section. And yeah, so let's see how he does. Does he? Come on, let's see the cars. Okay, so going incredibly slowly. This is obviously a very long run down to the first corner and a massive snap there by Titan Ash. That's going to immediately put him at danger from Corsair, who's right in the slipstream. It looks like they are incredibly close. They're weaving down the straight to try and break the toe, try and get some clear air as well before the braking zone of turn number 1. Humid going hyper aggressive on the outside there. Azure staying quite... quite defensive there, and somehow they all stay exactly as they were, and Azure is still out in front, Humid right on top of him, and you can see everyone is being incredibly aggressive. Titan Ash going around the outside of that corner will become the inside here, and again the inside on the next corner, so it looks like he's made a decent decision there. Humid still just about alongside, has to back out going into the third sector, and Titan making his way up into second position now will have the opportunity to try and chase down Azure. Humid behind, massive snap there by Titan Ash, a little bit of contact between him and Humid, and Titan losing positions all the way down into almost fifth position now, and that is a massive spin by Humid, and what has happened there? So Humid, massive spin there on lap 5 right after the safety car, and really unfortunate for him. But Azure now in first place, Corsair in second, Emil in third, Titan Ash in fourth after that moment earlier on. Humid dropping down even further. I wouldn't be surprised if that he has gone into the pits there to repair his front wing. Scars in fifth, Marsh in sixth, Quinton seventh, Venom eighth. Venom under threat by Olympic. So definitely Olympic pushing to try and get past Venom. Worm Puzzle has dropped down quite a few places as well. Wonder if there was contact there. A massive snap there by, I think that was Zivan in the foreground. Arc losing a whole bunch of places coming out of the chicane. Demo making his way past Worm Puzzle. So does Worm Puzzle have... No, that was just a decent move there in the braking. So Demo making a nice move there. Worm Puzzle behind, Helis right behind him. The only person on the grid with damage who hasn't retired is actually Mario, with a little bit of damage on his front right wing. So not enough to remove the end plate, but he is approaching damage, that amount of damage. Aphrodite right on the back of him, and Aphrodite deciding to stay behind as they go into the stadium section proper. And oh, there we go. Mario just not having the run out of that section. Had a little bit of contact between him and Zivan. That has not caused damage for Zivan, but Zivan looks like he's got a lot more pace. That front wing really seems to be troubling Mario. Either that or he's running a lowdown for setup. So we'll see how he does down the straight. And it looks like he is doing incredibly well down the straight. He might... It doesn't look like he's burning either, so looks like he is definitely running a lower downforce setup, but Zivan still manages to get past him going into turn number 1. The two of them go through the first chicane side by side, so Zivan managing to get that position and keep it. Azure out in front, 1.7 seconds. Corsair in second, his teammate 1.8 seconds back. Emil right on top of Corsair, so Corsair has not had a good first sector of this track, and so far looking at the lap times, it looks like quite a few people are very close together. Let's go to gaps. You can see their fastest laps, a couple of people with incredibly fast laps. Emil actually with the second fastest lap, only 0.003 of a second behind Azure. So the guys running incredibly quickly at the moment. Aphrodite right on the back of Olympic. Arc has retired from the session, and has that brought out a safety car? It has indeed. That is going to frustrate a whole bunch of people. We'll see if Humid comes across Arc's car. No, he does not. Arc's car disappears too quickly. Azure has stayed out. Corsair has stayed up. Marsh is the first person who has gone into the pits. Olympic has gone through. Afro has gone through. Looks like pretty much everyone is staying out other than Mario. So Mario is coming in. He might actually ironically come out ahead of his teammate Humid. But yeah, another safety car. Couple of laps into the race. Arc looked like he may have lost it going through the S-bends, but unfortunate for him, his race coming to an end through the S's. 8 laps down, 36 laps in total, 29 laps left. That is not correct. My telemetry tool can't count. So right now I can't count. Wait, no, that's not right. It's 28 laps left, I'm pretty sure. Somehow, despite the number of safety cars we've had in Tier 1, we still have not had a red flag. Which I'm a little disappointed. They should definitely be on. It's under simulation settings. No. Red flags, standard. Alrighty, so Azure out in front, Corsair in second, Emil in third, and that looks like Scars going into the pits, deciding to pit with everyone behind the safety car. Obviously he has decided he's fine to go to the back of the grid. Let's have a look. So he's going onto medium tires. Who else is on medium? Everyone out at the front is on medium tires. It's going to be a long stint, but it is possible to get to the end of the race from here on the medium tires. It is going to be a long stint. I'm sure we'll see some people trying to make it all the way to the end if there isn't another safety car. But yeah, those medium tires that they have just put on Mario and Scars, it's going to be a long stint. They're going to have to do some inventive driving towards the end there. And it might still just not make it if they don't have another safety car. So it might not be the greatest idea, but if they are gambling on another safety car, not necessarily the worst idea either. So Azure once again leading the pack down, round behind the safety car. And let's see, does he go earlier this time or does he wait once again to the start-finish line? See a little bit of a concertina effect through the stadium section there, which is always a little bit scary to see. But Azure has gone early, and Emil gets a massive snap there coming out of the final corner. Titan is going to jump on him right away. Quinton doing incredibly well on the back of that McLaren. Williams and a McLaren fighting once again, as we've seen many times in the past. Venom in there as well, and Emil there as well. So quite a few people going into the first couple of corners side by side. Titan Ash dropping down into 8th position right in front of his teammate. Aphrodite getting through as well. Oh, Aphrodite has spun once again, and that is really unfortunate. That looks like a weird spot to spin as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if that is contact for Aphrodite once again. But yeah, really unfortunate there for Afro. Azure out in front, Corsair in second, Quinton in third position, Venom in fourth, after some interesting moves down into turn 1, Emil in fifth, Olympic in sixth, the two McLarens, Titan and Zivan in 7th and 8th, and Zivan, massive snap of lag there, and that's put him right into the clutches of Demo, who's got Helis right on the back of him as well. Humid has joined this fight in the meantime as well, so we'll see what he can do there, and we can see some movement up in front as well as this cluster comes through the corner all practically together. Demo holding on to the position for dear life. Humid going to the inside this time. Helis almost trying to make the move as well, but not quite managing it. So Humid has made a position there on Demo, and Helis trying to do the same. Will he be able to get through there? That is the AlphaTauri of Mario. So Humid has actually Helis has actually dropped back, and now we see these guys heading 3 wide into turn 1. Will they all make it through? Oops, sorry. Looks like they've managed to get 2 by 2, and a little bit of contact there, a little bit of racing, hard racing there, but it looks like everyone manages to get through. And great racing here. They are still clustered up all together. Marsh now right alongside Mario. Brakes a little bit later, will get to the inside on the next corner. Is there enough space? Demo going a little bit slowly on the apex, some contact there between the two of them. I don't think either of them could have avoided that. A little bit naughty there by Marsh, shuffling Mario off the track. Wouldn't be surprised if I do get that into the steward's room after this, but then they return the favor. And yeah, still side by side through all of this, and now Mario goes to the inside and decides better of it, brakes a little bit harder just to get himself out of the way, and great racing by the two of them there, pretty respectful. Obviously there was a little bit of shuffling out of the way there, but I'm sure if they did feel like it was unfair, they will report it. Humid now getting through on Venom, not quite complete, but now Venom has tucked into the slipstream. Will he manage to brake in time? It looks like they're doing fine there. Emil and Quinton out in front in the meantime are fighting as well, and that looks like Quinton may have shuffled Emil off there, but difficult to get through there side by side. Emil has managed to maintain his position, so he didn't lose too much time there, and now is in front of, not in front, Quinton managing to brake a little bit later, and shuffles Emil off there, and now they are going through into the end of the second, the beginning of the second sector side by side, and Quinton now has the position after that little moment that we saw. Ollie and Emil right side by side as well. Emil now being shuffled a little bit down, but not quite giving up through the second sector, through those S-bends. So incredible racing by these guys, as Zero and Corsair are out in front, quite far ahead now, 6 seconds Quinton ahead, behind Corsair rather, and Humid has joined the battle emphatically, getting through on Olympic with a massive late braking move. Quinton getting a penalty, not entirely sure what that was, as we see Titan Ash with a snap in the background once again through that final sector, and that will give Venom the opportunity to try and come back at him in the Aston Martin, but here the Titan is on the back of Titan is on the back of Olympic, and for some reason it jumped 2 cars there, and we can see Titan trying to get through there side by side, decides better of it. Olympic manages to keep the position, little snap by Z1 behind. Titan has not given up. He has DRS once again, but Olympic does his no, he didn't. It looked like Olympic didn't have DRS, and Titan Ash gets through on the Ferrari, and will he be able to keep the position? It looks like he's managed to keep the position now. Zivan and Venom going side by side through Sector 2, the beginning of Sector 2, and a couple other people in the background as well. So Zivan has left the session, so that is, I do believe that is, that's really unfortunate, that is a connection drop, and he was doing incredibly well. But back to the battle. Scars is right on the back of Venom now, and it looks like he's gotten through. Will he manage to keep it into the final sector of the race? Looked like he left about a car's width, a 3/4 of a car's width at the apex there. I think he has got this move done, and Venom is now under threat by Marsh right away, who is right with as Mario right on top of him as well. 3 seconds penalties, so penalties for Quinton, Olympic, as we see Humid get past Emil. Nice, easy pass there with the DRS. But Quentin, Olympic, Scars, Venom, Mario, and Zivan all with penalties, 3-second penalties for track limits. And you can see once again that is Mario trying to muscle his way through on Venom. Ark has now left the session. He crashed out earlier, and Mario gets through on Venom after a little bit of pushing there, but manages to get through. Titan and Olympic currently very close onto the back of Quinton. Quinton now down into 5th position after running in 3rd a little bit earlier, and I'm sure he is feeling, Quinton, massive snap of lag there for a moment, but Titan is trying to put as much pressure onto the back of that Williams as possible. Once again, McLaren and the Williams fighting, always good to see. And let's see, Titan, good, cuts out very, very, very late there, and that did look like he did have a little bit of contact there. Zivan is asking for another invite, so I'll send it quickly before we get onto the pit straight, which I'm sure we'll see some more action. So there we go, Zivan is sent, and now let's see if Titan can do something. Olympic is in the pits, so that's why he's dropping positions. Titan on the back of Quinton with the DRS, 3/10, 2/10, 1/10 of a second, pulls to the outside of the corner, will become the inside of turn 2, and looks like he manages to get it right. Closes the door on Quinton. Decent racing there, and makes the position. Scars is now the next to look at the back of Quinton. Quinton struggling without that DRS. Is it a double DRS zone? It is indeed a double DRS zone, and unfortunately that's one of the things with the double DRS zone. If you are not behind at the beginning of the first DRS zone, you don't get DRS for the second, and I feel like it is really unfair. But yeah, one of those things. Quinton being shuffled down the order by that little bit of unfairness. Scars is now right on the back of Titan Ash though, and he will get DRS through this section. You can see the rear wing open, doesn't get too much closer as he looks at the back of that McLaren. Azure and Corsair out in front. Looks like they are cooperating a little bit. Azure dragging Corsair along with the DRS, I'm sure, but Corsair is now coming into the pits. So he is now coming into the pits. If he can pull off a decent pit stop, as we see Titan and Scars side by side there. Scars looks like he gets a slightly better exit there. It does get the DRS as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps this position. As I said, double DRS zone there. Marsh now gets through on Quinton. Mario right on the back of them as well. Aphrodox fighting his way back up from the back once again. Will he manage to make it? How far will he manage to make it up? Oh, and a little bit of contact there between Mario and Quinton. I think that was just a little bit of an understeer by Quinton, but that should be fine. So far so good. Azure 6.5 seconds ahead of Humid. Humid looks like he's putting in some decent laps there. Humid actually with the fastest lap of the race. Scars with the fastest 1st and 3rd sector. Mario with the fastest 2nd sector. So looks like Humid's Humid's setup is a little bit more balanced than the other guys, and that is paying dividends as he gets has the fastest lap so far. And Corsair down in 13th, all the way down in 13th after that pit stop, and that just shows how close these guys are racing. 16 laps in. Yes, we did have a safety car about 8 laps ago, and that is going to be an absolute slam dunk penalty. Really unfortunate there. Lap 16. And yeah, that is really unfortunate. I think Demo may have braked a little bit earlier than Corsair was expecting, and very, very, very heavy contact there. And that is going to be judged by the stewards, I am sure. Charlik, did he get the invite I sent just now? Is this another invite that he needs? Would you mind just confirming for me? According to my telemetry, I'm just having a look. Yeah, it's not showing him as AI, so I think he did get in. So lap 17 of 36, 19 laps to go, and Marsh gets a 3-second penalty for track limit. So those penalties are going to come into play at the end of the race. Marsh just ahead of Mario. I think it's the initial one. Okay, cool, that's perfect. So Mario on the back of Marsh. The gaps are starting to even out a little bit more. Corsair now on the back of Heli's. And does he manage to get through here? Once again, breaks out of the slipstream quite late. Heli's going very wide there, not entirely sure. I don't think that was a push. And Corsair through into 10th position. But as I was saying, 13 positions that Corsair lost just by pitting. And that just shows how close these guys. Oh no, Emil and Aphrodite come into the pits right on top of each other. It doesn't look like Aphrodite was held up too long, so that's good to see. Nice, clean pit stop there for Afro, and he's down into 13th position at the moment. Sorry about that. And we can see 3 people ahead who have not pit yet. So net at the moment, Aphrodite is in 10th position, I do believe, and Titan will be up into 7th. So a couple of people still needing to stop. Azure actually has stopped now down into 6th position. So only a couple of people still needing to stop. Although Marsh, Humid, Marsh, Mario, Quinton, Venom, Worm Puzzle, I would reckon that those guys probably still need to stop. Marsh, let's have a look at him. Marsh might make it to the end on those hard tires. We did work out that Scars and Mario were going to be close on those medium tires. Humid might be pushing those hards towards the end of their lifespan, which we're used to seeing with Humid. Quinton, Venom, and Worm Puzzle haven't had their second tire compound just yet, so they will have to come into pits. So pit strategy is going to be quite interesting. And yeah, we'll see how that actually goes. Just checking, I saw a message somewhere, but I don't think it's... Ew, and Mario getting around Marsh as if he is standing still. And let's have a look at their tires. It looks like Mario's tires are definitely a little bit more worn than Marsh's, but he does have the advantage of them being the mediums versus Marsh's hard, and that will only really swap around towards the end of the race for those guys. So yeah, at the moment a little bit of a lull. We do have obviously these two fighting. We also have the battle here for 10th position, the final point. Worm Puzzle, Emil, Olympic, and Afro needs 9 seconds to find 9 seconds to get up to these guys in front, as we see Emil getting past Worm Puzzle with a pretty good move around the what is essentially a double right-hander, but looks like a hairpin according to the map. So some good racing all around. Olympic now right on the back of Worm Puzzle. Will he be able to make it through cleanly? And we'll see very shortly. Goes to the outside. DRS for both of them. Is he alongside? No, not quite alongside enough, and has to back out for the third sector. And we'll follow the Mercedes through. A little bit of contact there as they go through, as Azure and Corsair get past Quinton. I do believe Quinton is coming into the pits there to get rid of his 19-lap old hard tires. Olympic and that is Worm Puzzle. Is he going to make it through? Looks like he is going to manage into the first corner. I wouldn't be surprised. There we go. And he now pulls ahead there. So Aphrodite, as I said, up into 12th position. Quinton in 13th now with slightly fresher tires, and we'll see what he can do. Titan Ash getting through on Venom. Didn't even see that one coming. But yeah, Titan Ash getting through on Venom in the McLaren. Venom still on his original tires though. Welcome. Where have you been? Okay, so Marsh in 4th place, Emil getting through on Venom as well. So Venom's race pace dropping off quite severely on those 19-lap old hard tires. So if 19 laps is where the hard tires start dropping off, Yeah, Venom and Worm Puzzle still out there on their original tires. Worm Puzzle in the Mercedes doesn't look like he's coming in either. Marsh and Mario fighting it out, locking wheels there for a moment. Do they both get through? They do indeed. But that is a very quick Alpine right behind them. And and was that a little bit of contact? No, I think that's fine. Okay, so Azure taking an aggressive line through there to try for the cutback. Massive snap of oversteer coming out of that corner. Almost looked like it was intentional. And Azure going through might be a little bit of a complaint of being shuffled out there by Mario. But we'll see how it goes in the steward's room. Where is Santa? Santa, I do believe, is in Tier 2. This is a Tier 1 race, so that's what's happening there. And yeah, I do remember when last you were here. Good evening, Strings. Welcome to the chat. I haven't heard from your friend yet. As soon as I do, I will help them out as much as I can. But Azure right onto the back of Marsh now, and an easy pass by the by Azure. As we mentioned a couple of times, he is incredibly quick, and just showing that didn't even look like he really tried through there, and does have DRS as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a fastest lap coming soon. Venom going into the pits. Worm Puzzle looks like he might. No, he is going into the pits as well. So 21 laps for the hard tires. That would put Humid 5 laps away on his hards. Marsh is 7 laps away on his tires. So only lap 29 on Marsh's case, and that's the best case. Mario and Scars are going to suffer on those medium tires. So I do believe that we are going to see them coming in towards the end of the race once again. Azure indeed playing a different name game from the rest of us, or whatever game he is playing, it does seem to be on easy mode, but he shares this pace across every racing game I've seen him play. So yeah, one of those people that's just ridiculously gifted with these games. Runs a Logitech G29 as well, which is honestly a feat in itself, that he's able to extract this sort of pace from the car with a G29, and just shows like equipment isn't everything. Mario and Cool, that was a little bit of contact there between Marsh and Mario, and I'm sure we'll have a look at that after the race. But yeah, a little bit of contact there, but Mario has gotten through on Marsh, and he should get another burst of DRS coming out of this corner. Rear wing opens, and Marsh is going to feel pretty helpless right now to try and catch up. Will need to burn a whole bunch of ERS just to keep up, and has managed to stay within a second. So just has to keep it together through the second and third sectors. Looks like he got a decent brake run into there, and in the meantime, Aphrodox, who pitted a little bit earlier than some of the guys around him, a little bit later than Olympic, or we can see Olympic on those 8-lap old hard tires, but Aphrodox does seem to be finding his pace again after the spinning wing is tomorrow as well, T2. So Aphrodox currently in 10th position, has had a very eventful race, a couple of spins early on, not sure if there was contact or not, but has had to fight back from quite far back, and looks like he's going to do exactly that. Goes to the inside of Olympic, nice and easy pass. Corsair has left the session, and that has opened up a whole bunch of things. There are not the sort of gaps that can handle. Scars coming into the pits. Scars has come into the pits and gotten rid of the tires he was on, so obviously feeling that those tires are not performing as well as they need to. I think he is going to be overtaken by Aphrodox and Olympic. He is out of the pit lane at the moment, but will have slightly colder tires. Will these two be able to do anything? Aphrodox goes a little bit defensive to try and block Olympic. Olympic goes to the inside. Good, decent racing on the first corner. Second corner, Aphrodox gives a good amount of space there. Oh, and contact there with the wall for Aphrodox, and is that damage? That is a little bit of damage on the wing, And interestingly, that is damage on the front left. Yes, that is correct. Okay, cool. So possibly a little bit of contact on the outside of the first corner there, and unfortunately not catching it on the stream, but Olympic and Aphrodite are still fighting as they head into the S-bends of Sector 2. Emil and Corsair swapping positions. Corsair obviously dropping out of the lobby, has managed to rejoin, but that is not going to be great. Oh, great move there. That looked like a good move there by Aphrodite. Very late on the brakes, getting through there. Didn't look like any sort of contact. Unfortunately, I did look down, and yeah, it looked like a massive move there. And Olympic going very slowly at the moment. Not entirely sure what happened there, but Aphrodite through into 9th position. Alrighty, so things are calming. Oh, I say that Titan Ash gets past Marsh, nice easy pass under the DRS. Things are calming down a little bit. People are starting to create gaps like we are kind of expect to see. 25 laps in. It's taken 25 laps for gaps to form. Granted, there were about 8 laps where 8 laps where we were under safety car, but since then it's been pretty clean racing from what we've seen. Titan Ash in 4th, trying to get away from Marsh. Marsh does look like he's holding on there though, and will get DRS down this first little straight, and then through the 3rd sector, if he manages to keep hold there, he will get DRS again, but it doesn't look like he has, and that's opened it up to Emil. So we might see a battle between Emil and Marsh unfortunately spins out. That looks like he may have gotten a little bit too much onto the curb, and that has spun him out. Marsh now gets back underway, and it looks like his tires are basically shot. Having a look at the telemetry, not too bad, but he has overheated those rear tires entirely, and I think that's maybe what happened there. Corsair loses a position to Scars. Scars make his way through into 6th place. So a couple of things happening on that lap that we didn't necessarily expect to see. Quinton now up into 9th as well. Olympic in 10th, right behind him. He'll probably wait until the 2nd DRS zone, and let's see what he does. Wing got the two race ban due to events in our first race at Jeddah. He smashed into the back of someone at full speed under safety car. So yeah, he picked up 3 penalty points for that, and yeah, that I think that was one. I think there was another incident as well, but that was the main one that managed to get him the penalty points that he needed. And Titan going for a dive on Mario. Unfortunately, the game deciding it would be better to show us the floor than the actual motion there, but looks like they did pretty well. And out in front, Azure has caught up to Humid on 21 lap old tires. We saw the other guys on the hards getting rid of the hard tires at about 21 laps, and I can absolutely see why both Mario and Humid, the two AlphaTauris, pushing their tires to the very brink of death. I wouldn't be surprised to see Mario come in the next 2 laps, and Humid probably won't be too far behind. Those tires are not looking great, and it's going to make him incredibly susceptible to attacks from behind. You can see Mario is struggling on those medium tires, just not having any sort of traction there. Shown the door by Emil, and Emil through into 4th place. Mario now down into 5th. Scars right on top of him as well, and round the outside, a little bit of lag there by Scars, but manages to make it through safely. And Corsair now, Mario now down into 6th. Corsair 3.7 seconds back. Yeah, Corsair now 3 seconds back, and I don't think that's far enough for Mario to feel safe to go to the end of the race. Still 8 laps left to go. This race really is grueling. It is a long one, and I think that I saw Mario coming into the pits there in the background, almost hits the wall. And luckily doesn't, but 61% on his front left tire as he comes into the pits there, and you can understand why he had to get rid of those tires. Emil current
box now, box. Stay out, stay out, stay out.
Luckily not hards, going for the mediums, which makes a little bit more sense. And definitely not a Ferrari pit stop, so should be fine. Yeah, softs for Humid. I imagine he will be going for softs. I don't think there's any other option there. We'll probably get the fastest lap due to that. So Emil currently in 5th, Scars in 4th, Titan Ash in 3rd. These three fighting for the final step of the podium. But we do have penalties to consider as well. Emil not with any penalties, so if he manages to keep this position, if he manages to stay this close to the two in front, he will get the last podium position. So interestingly, we have lapped traffic out in front. So I think that is Demo being caught up by Azure. Humid in 2nd place is not coming in just yet. Marsh has left the session. And that looks like a disconnect. Hopefully he manages to get back in, but that is really unfortunate for Marsh. And Scars now getting through on Titan Ash in that DRS zone. He'll have the second squirt of DRS as well to pull away even further. Aphrodite has lost the position. He's coming into the pits. That's soft tires. Not 100% sure why. Possibly just wanting to push for the fastest lap. I think he is going to have a little bit of a problem with Humid, who is likely to still need to come in. But Aphrodite's tires didn't look that bad. There weren't any red numbers around there. So not 100% sure why he's done that. And unfortunately loses a position to Haley's as well. So released out back into traffic. And with those soft tires, he is being held up massively by Helis. Will get past now, I'm sure. Yeah, much better traction out of the corner, but that was not ideal. But I'm sure we'll see him trying to set a fastest lap very soon. Humid now might have a problem. So his tires are approaching. Yeah, Humid's tires are approaching the point where he's going to start risking failures. Sorry, I just saw Mario and Olympic fighting each other. Yeah, Humid's tires are approaching the point where he's going to have to worry about failures. If he pits now, he loses a bunch of positions. As we see Olympic coming in. Olympic. His tires aren't too bad. 42% on the rear left, so not too bad. But I think I think everyone is now basically looking at it and going, okay, cool. Let's salvage what we can. Try and get the fastest lap and see what they can do. Aphrodite now has pretty clear air in front of him. Just the AI of Marsh, which he can probably go straight through. And yeah, so a couple of people coming in for those soft tires. I do believe they're going to be trying to go for the fastest laps. Olympic is on soft tires as well. Aphrodite's on soft tires. Humid, not really an option anymore with how close it is to the end of the race. I don't think he has enough time to make up the positions he would lose by coming into the pits. Zivan has left the session. That's really unfortunate. Currently down in 14th though, so yeah, that's really unfortunate. Not a great race for Zivan. Thanks to the internet connection issues. But yeah, Humid is really going to be. He doesn't seem to be falling back from Azure, which is a little unusual to say, since Azure is on new hard tires, Humid on very old hard tires, which honestly I'm waiting for the. I'm very much waiting for this puncture. Scars is currently 9 seconds back, not catching them. Titan and Emil in 4th and 5th. Corsair in 6th position, 4.4 seconds back. Quinton is 8.4 seconds back with a 6-second penalty. Mario also with a 6-second penalty, so not going to be troubling them. Aphrodite getting through on Venom, so trying to salvage as many points as possible in the Alfa Romeo, and gets a little bit wide there, managed to keep it on the line, I think, and he now has 10 seconds to try and catch up to Mario, so this is a perfect gap for him to try and push and get that fastest lap. Would have gotten DRS off Venom there, so that will help him with his run as well. Looking at the timing screens, Not the fastest first sector of anyone. Just seeing as he comes through the second sector. Let's see what he can do. Not the fastest second sector of anyone. So unfortunately, it does look like Afro may have gone a little bit too late onto the soft tires and been balked on the best laps to try and get a fastest lap of the race. He also does still have that 8% wing damage, which might be slowing him down as well, especially through the S's as we see Mario get through on Quinton, and Quinton going very wide there on the entry to the braking zone. Aphrodite does indeed, he does actually manage to get the fastest third sector of anyone, but unfortunately is not quite enough to get the fastest lap of the race, which is currently a 118.185 by Scars, and Aphrodite's was a 118.689, so 5/10 slower than Scars on that lap. But yeah, we see a couple people fighting it out. Quinton just dropping outside of Mario's DRS zone. Worm Puzzle on the back of Helis, and this is a battle for 13th position. 4 laps left to go. Oh, you are right. Human has lost a lot of time there. His last lap, he was about 1.5 seconds slower than Azure. It doesn't look like he's got a puncture just yet. I'm keeping an eye on his health. His tire health. Olympic getting through on Marsh. Unfortunately, Marsh with Marsh's inverter died again before the end of the race. That's really unfortunate because he was doing pretty well. So really unfortunate there for Marsh losing his inverter and losing his positions. As we see Marsh coming into the pits apparently. Worm Puzzle is right on the back of Helis, and he will get DRS down here. So let's see what he does as he goes down the first run down to turn number 1. Looks like he's quite close now, 0.4 of a second. Does he manage to keep it together through this chicane, and does it bring him close enough to the back of Helis to make a move? It looks like he loses a little bit of time through the chicane, but on the exit gets a better exit than Helis. Is the DRS strong enough? I don't think it's going to be. So I think Helis might be burning quite a bit of ERS there. The two of them actually running similar levels of ERS, and Worm Puzzle maybe getting on it a little bit too early there, and a snap of oversteer, and that's dropped him out of the 1 second gap. So we've now basically gotten to the point where, for the most part, people have decent gaps, but Aphrodite, although nowhere near anyone on track, 6 seconds of penalties await Quinton at the end. So Aphrodite's currently running net 8th from dead last on the on the road after those moments in the first couple of corners. So Aphrodite's actually doing pretty well with the recovery drive. If he makes it up to less than a second behind Quinton, or if he even gets past Quinton as he currently stands, he will actually manage to catch up to the back of Mario. Mario obviously with those slightly newer tires though, slightly less wear on those tires than Aphrodite, but obviously medium tires versus soft. So Afro might actually have a chance to try for 7th position. He just needs to push incredibly hard now. So yeah, let's see what happens. Azure out in front, Humid losing time all the time. I think Humid has realized that he needs to conserve those tires. 2 laps until the end of the race, and this is going to be I'm sure. Oh, nope, there it is. Humid has got a puncture. Humid with a puncture, rear left puncture. That hard tire could not hold on long enough. And this is going to be a tragedy for Humid. Scars goes through. Titan Ash in 4th place. Let's see. There's still 2 laps to go. This is going to be massive. Oh no. It must be so hard to drive. This car is going nowhere fast, unfortunately. And Humid going for the gamble, and just unfortunately it didn't work out. pushing those tires just a little bit too far. And we've seen Humid have punctures before. He does tend to push his tires beyond their lifespan, and once again, unfortunately, being caught by that puncture. And as I said, rear left tire, front left is 72%, rear right 75%, 79% after that little spin there, 66% on the front right. Oh, sorry, that was a rear right. So Humid, unfortunately, that car is going nowhere quickly. And this is good for Afrodox because he will climb up another place. Unfortunately, Mario, ooh, that is contact with the wall there. And luckily, Humid is ghosted, so he's not going to cause too much issues for anyone else. But unfortunately, Humid's race basically coming to an end with that puncture. Trying desperately to get that AlphaTauri into the pit lane, and as I said earlier, like it was a difficult spot for him, because if he came in, he was going to lose a bunch of positions. If he managed to hold onto it and hold onto that tire and just nurse it home, it probably would have been a pretty good strategy. As we see the weather getting a little bit worse in the background, just to cool the track down. I'm sure Humid would be cursing it right now with how close it was to the end to be able to cool his tires down a little bit further. But Afrodox currently just needs to bring it home, will not catch up to the back of Mario. Quinton going a little bit too slowly for that to happen. I'm sure we'll see Afrodox get him on track as well. Azure finishing the race in first position, Scars coming through in second, Titan Ash now waiting for Titan Ash to come through in third, Emil is coming through fourth. And such big gaps, 5-second gaps between most of these guys. Mario right on the back of Corsair. Unfortunately, that 6-second penalty making sure it's impossible for him to get that. Quinton and Afrodox coming through the final corner. Afrodox right on the back of Quinton and will get that position after penalties. Venom in ninth with Olympic right on top of him. Olympic with 9 seconds of penalties compared to his 6 seconds, so that will probably stay the same. Humid in 11th after that that puncture was just tragic. But Humid with a puncture coming through in 11th place. Worm Puzzle in 12th. Worm Puzzle taking a different route there. Zivan in 13th. That is an AI. Helis in 14th. Not AI, but I think Zivan and Marsh will both keep their positions due to how late they went out. And there we have it. What a race. Yeah, a little bit of a hectic start. Afrodox definitely having a couple of moments early on, which made his race a little bit more interesting, and our our watching of the race a little bit more interesting as well. Finishing in 7th place from pretty much back of the grid. Scars finishing in 2nd, getting the driver of the day. Azure out in front. There we go. And yeah, Azure out in front, as I said. Scars in 2nd, Titan Ash 3rd, Emil 4th, Corsair in 5th position, Mario 6th, Afrodox 7th after having to fight back from the back, Quinton in 8th, Venom in 9th, Olympic in 10th position. Then Humid with that puncture so close to the end. Worm Puzzle, Helis, Zivan, Marsh the top 15, Demo, Arc, and Martin de Brain, the final runners. Demo, the last of the finishers. So well done to him for getting through there, and had some good pace early on. So yeah, good to see there. Quite a few incidents listed on the race director, so hopefully I can get through them before everyone leaves the lobby. Cool, and then let's just have a look. Yep. Scars got the fastest lap. Let's go here. A few lap times. Nope, could not check. So I'm going to assume he didn't get a warning on his lap. Okay, well done to everyone. That was incredibly fun. Well done, well done, well done. And hopefully we see good racing from the guys in Tier 2 tomorrow evening. So hope to see you all in the chat once again. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll check you next time.